let's start with the fucking undercard.
Oh, go on then.
I have never felt more offended as a human being, as a fight fan, with Hamed's opponent.
Oh, did you see that, Michael?
With who?
Did you see Aadam Hamed's son?
Oh, no, I didn't see him.
Tell him,
The
Gary.
opponent, it was absolutely horrific. When he walked in, he didn't have a muscle on his body. Tiny little kid. He looked like he was 50 pounds less weight.
His son or his opponent?
It's his Aadam Hamed's son fought an opponent who was 17 allegedly. He looked about 14 at best, didn't he, Gary? And he was woefully inept, Silk. He literally... Keep going, Gary.
Well, it was 1-2, his record, 1 win, 2 losses, but he was a tiny child. He was like a baby. He didn't have a muscle on his body. It was like the lamb to the slaughter. I love Naz. I understand it's his son's first fight ever, so you just got to go through the motions, right? So I understand all of the precaution, but when you saw that little boy enter the ring that he fought, it was offensive to me as a fight fan. I was disgusted before. And then, not only was it bad, I mean, then he won in 40 seconds, and the kid's against the ropes just with his eyes closed.
Yes.
And he bangs him around a bit, and the ref jumps in quickly, which is good. And then all of the walking around and bravado as if he'd done something. If it was me, and all due respect, I would have been embarrassed. I would have walked out very quietly, and I would have just said, okay, I got that done with, whatever. But I don't think I would have even fought the kid. If I was a true professional fighter, and it's not the way you look, this was offensive to me.
Well, you know what happens
afterwards. All of the
so
it's really horrific. I wish you'd have seen it, Silk.
So you know what happens? It's like you sign for the fight and you don't know who it is if you're the fighter, and then you get to the fight and then there's the weigh-in and you see your opponent. That's the point right there. If you're going to say anything.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, but they've picked this kid for his debut. They've seen him.
Yeah. So his
matchmakers should be in jail.
Well, his managers should be like, well, this isn't going to be good for us. I mean, there's people. I've seen some pretty atrocious people on like ESPN or ESPN2 or whatever fighting just the same, exactly what you're saying. So I absolutely 100% agree with you. But you know what they do? They just pad their records as much as possible. And I don't know if Nassim's son, is he a strong amateur or is this?
No, Michael.
This was his first ever fight. No amateur, no pro.
So amateur pedigree.
I get that, right? And I'm a fan of Naz. I love him as a person, as a man. I would look after my kid the same, but I would not. If you see what we saw, it was not looking after someone. I tell you I tell you what is scary. If that kid would have got hit and hurt badly, I would have put the fucking matchmaker in jail. I would put legal, because they didn't look the same weight. It was just the kid was just offering to die, and he just got in there and he ran, and he just got beat up a little bit. He covered his eyes, and it was just, and then everyone's, and it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in the fight game. Talk about, I've never seen that in UFC. I give Dana that. I've never seen that anything so mismatched in my life.
And I think
that was the biggest mismatch I've ever seen in my life.
I think the effect it can have, Gary, it can make you root against an Aadam Hamed before he even starts through no fault of his own. Because
I was so excited for him. I was excited for Naz. I love Naz. You know,
is he
Naz,
a good puncher? Is this guy a good puncher? Like, is Naz?
No, the kid's
what
not even.
What did he look like boxing?
I'll tell you what he looked like, right? He had some of them Nassim for the 40 seconds we saw with nothing in front of him. You'd have learnt as much seeing him on the heavy bag. He looked like he had those Aadam Hamed kind of, that swagger. And he did this funny thing with his feet, as I'm sure Gary will confirm. This funny thing where he'd pick him up in an exaggerated fashion, doing a little jig. And he looks like he nice free-flowing combination puncher. He looks significantly better talent-wise than Campbell Hatton for the sake of a similar yardstick. But whether he punches as hard as his old man, you'd have no way of knowing, because this kid was just an absolute lamb, or a deer caught in the headlines.
And how old is Nassim's son?
21, is he, Adam? Gary? Something like that?
Maybe.
Wow.
It was all the stuff before. I mean, after like he'd done something, and it's like I would have loved Naz's son if he'd just walked out quiet and took the win. But
Did he say something afterwards? Did he act like he won the world title or something?
Yeah, and I'm gonna and put anyone in front of me now, and come on.
Yeah. I'm knocking them all out.
I think it was probably a comedy skit they were doing. Probably something for, they're doing
they're better than that. These guys, they don't need to do that because there was no cheers. It was just silence. It was just like everyone was just embarrassed. I mean,
Michael, it was the pre-main event, wasn't it, Gary? It was literally the fight.
Pre-main event.
No way.
I mean, pull up a picture of him, Ben.